Hey folks, how are you? And of course, I remember a couple of days ago when I was talking about the issues that were going on in Brazilian football. Well, Ednaldo's back. Ednaldo Rogdrigues, a couple of days ago, ends up being reinstated by courts in Rio, and he once again is the president of the CBF. But again, there was a lot of speculation as to what was going to happen. And after everything is said and done, Dorival Junior is the main candidate. As I mentioned before, Dorival Junior continues being the main candidate to be the next coach of the Brazilian national team. Is he qualified? Well, based on what he's been able to do, yeah. Based on what he's been able to create in terms of his recent resume, yes. You could say that. But if you ask me, there might be a better candidate. Now, keep in mind, is this something that the CBF, or not the CBF, that the players of the Brazilian national team need at this moment? The answer is probably no. You need a coach that's going to be able to go into their soul. It's a team that right now finds themselves, I have to take a little bit of a flashback so you can get an idea that back in 2015, I was doing commentary for the Copa America for the Caribbean with Sportsmax. Of course, that was the beginning of my relationship with Sportsmax. And I remember one of the people that worked there, Lance Whitaker, talked about Brazil. I said, "Look, man, this is probably the worst Brazil team I had ever seen. Probably one of the worst Brazil teams ever." I was wrong. This is probably one of the worst Brazil teams ever. Not based on the names, but based on the overall function of the team that really wasn't able to find any cohesiveness. Reason why Fernando Diniz ends up being basically sacked. Fernando Diniz basically can't, and don't, let's not blame him. He has two hats he has to wear. He's juggling two rosters at the same time, and that ends up being a big problem. Let's not kid ourselves. That's something that's extremely serious. Now, is there someone that could probably fit in a bit better? I mean, Dorival Junior, keep in mind his past and what happened with him and Neymar back in the day. What happened. And he might not be the coach that's the right one for Brazil. I'm not saying it because of Neymar. I'm just saying it because he's not a bad coach, but he's not what Brazil needs at this moment. What Brazil needs is not just a tactician. What Brazil needs is a person with, how should I say this? A bit with swagger. And I can only think of one coach in Brazil that can offer that. Renato Gaúcho. If you ask me. Now, if you ask me, I'm not saying that he's going to be the next coach. I'm saying what they need, because he is the coach that could offer that to the Brazilian national team coming into this summer. Maybe that's not the look. Maybe that's not what they're looking for. Maybe they're looking to just get to the World Cup. And to me, Renato Gaúcho understands what it is to play for the Brazilian national team, understands what Brazilian football needs, understands the players, has been able to connect very well in the past with players, has a swagger about himself. I mean, if you've seen Renato Gaúcho as coach of Grêmio and even of Flamengo, and he does understand the culture of Brazilian football. Now, does he offer the most attractive type of football? Probably not. But with the right players, he can implement just enough of a right system to be able to function properly. But what this team needs is a little bit more. What this team needs is swagger. Who's going to be able to get that swagger back? And to me, Renato Gaúcho is the indicated person for this. Dorival Junior is one that's not going to, rock the boat. He's not going to do too much to kind of bother the status quo. But he is my way or the highway at the end of the day. Renato Gaúcho is one that's going to try and get into the players' heads and say, hey, no, you're better than this. Come on, let's go. To such an extent that maybe some have even considered Renato Gaúcho to be pedantic. to be overly arrogant. If you want to, it's way too arrogant. Just way too. I mean, it's not like you're arrogant. You're overly arrogant, and it's something that maybe is necessary for Brazil to be able to come back and be Brazil and start believing a little bit more in themselves. But again, it's way beyond that, because there's a lot of other factors that surround Brazil right now that don't offer that stability that's necessary. And outside of everything that I'm talking about, Renato Gaúcho, he's the one that takes the bullets. He's the one that gets in front of everyone and says, I'm the one. And maybe that's what Brazil need in order to take some pressure off the players. Maybe. We shall see. Keeping this one short because I want to do a couple more. But make sure, like I said, the usual. Okay? Talk to you soon. Ciao.